times. Perhaps we want our times to be a little less interesting. Perhaps by being just, by showing love in public, we can make that happen. First, let's reflect on some of the love we witness in public today. As an aside, the land of social justice groups is full of well-meaning acronyms. I will try not to trip over them. My favorite acronyms are the ones with vowels because then you can say them. The downside is sometimes you forget what they stand for. My Brother's Table is the largest soup kitchen in the North Shore and provides 7 meals a day for their guests. They address food security, an issue far too common and often hidden in our community. This congregation actively supports the table. We shop, cook, serve, sing, give gifts, and clean up each December for the guests at the table to celebrate the holidays. In addition, we have volunteered to help serve meals throughout the year. Lastly, several of us gather a few times a year in our kitchen and prepare food the guests might not otherwise have. We have a lot of fun and good conversation, making meatballs, lasagna, and sometimes stuffed manicotti. Working with My Brother's Table is rewarding and immediate. Essex County Community Organization is known by one of my favorite acronyms, ECHO. It's a strong and multi-faith-based group located in Lynn with a small but incredible staff. UUCGL has participated in important work and successful campaigns supported by ECHO. Criminal justice reform, minimum wage and sick leave signature gathering, and immigration and sanctuary issues. They organize trainings and vigils, too numerous to describe today. ECHO led the effort to get a detained Guatemalan woman with serious health issues for which she was not receiving care released on bail this past Friday. She was detained by ICE after voluntarily appearing for a routine check-in in October. This was a life-saving action by ECHO and its members. Her husband and teenage children joyfully welcomed her back. One thing I personally value about ECHO is it makes me step out of my comfort zone, from knocking on doors, and yes, I am a very good robocaller, to sitting down, sharing a conversation, confronting my own implicit bias and perhaps narrow view of the world. ECHO is great at organizing the hard stuff that can be personally challenging. This includes meetings with police to talk about bias, meetings with elected officials to persuade them to support criminal justice reform, and vigils outside ICE offices. All a part of the struggle, part of the resistance. Our own Debbie Boggs is on the board. St. Stephen's Episcopal Church in Lynn runs a program called KIP, Kids in Community, which provides summer and after-school programming for elementary-age children. We financially support KIC by funding camp counselors, providing teenage summer employment, which in turn allows more youngsters to attend the free program. Some of us have volunteered and worked with the children in the summer program. Suzanne Forgione works with the board of the after-school program and volunteers throughout the year. SURE, S-U-R-E, stands for Swampscott Unites, Respects, Embraces Diversity. Best acronym ever, especially if you like puns. At a SURE meeting, we say it all the time. Can you meet next week, someone might ask? Sure, is the reply. I got involved when I learned about the group from Reverend Vicky. We've held 2 diversity festivals on Town Hall lawn featuring dance and music performances. Other organizations that support diversity host informational tables. Last year, I displayed our Standing on the Side of Love banner. We've also hosted forums we call conversations at the public library, viewing a film and having a discussion on white privilege. And while SURE is Swampscott focused, any and all are welcome to our events and forums. And by the way, our next forum will be held here, where we will have a conversation on transgender issues. Date to be determined. The social justice team also organized congregants to participate in the Gay Pride Parade sponsored by the North Shore Pride Group. They don't have an acronym. They march every year in Salem in bright yellow t-shirts carrying our banner supporting lesbian, gay, bisexual, transgender, queer, the LGBTQ community. MBT, ECHO, KIC, SHORE, LGBTQ, UUCGL. Now that I've recited the litany of acronyms, you ask, why did I share all this? To paraphrase Reverend Vicky, we're better together and we can make more of an impact as a coalition. These groups are part of our widening circle and often overlap. It's not just about money, it's about solidarity and shared commitments and partnerships. I like the image in Suzanne's prayer by Jane Wilson Joyce. A feather stitch, delicate, vine light, weaving our individual scraps of love together. We lean on them, they lean on us to form a just and loving community to address these interesting times together. Here's another question. How can we, as a congregation, do more tomorrow? One answer is we can form more mutual and supportive partnerships. 2 weeks ago, we heard from board members, Scott Noka and Michael Salona, about the Lynn Partnership Search Committee. And I haven't heard an acronym yet. It's a search committee about to be launched to address the goal, stated in our vision of ministry, to discern how to best champion our UU values, using our endowment, forming an alliance, and drawing the circle wider. At that meeting, we talked a little bit about what we have done, as there have been many task forces asking similar questions about increasing our presence in Lynn. After all, it's where we are historically from, and it has many opportunities for us to help make the world a better place. What I love about the process so far is the serious consideration of what it means to be a partner. A mutual relationship where perhaps some funding can come from our endowment and also provide opportunities for our congregation to do meaningful work. Some of the work will be hard, some of it will be frustrating, but as Cornel West declared in Mary Ann's reading earlier, we need the courage to fight for social justice, to take part in the struggle, and we cannot let despair have the last word. We don't know yet what the Lynn Partnership Search Committee is going to recommend or what the social justice team is going to focus on next year, because unfortunately, the number of social justice issues we could work on is nearly endless. Food security, immigration rights and sanctuaries, affordable daycare, mass incarceration, equity in education, affordable housing, alcohol and drug addictions, sexual harassment, assault and trafficking, voting rights. I remind myself, we cannot let despair win. We can choose, and we will choose. We can act, and we will act. We will draw the circle wider. We will join with partners. After all, as Kenneth, our music director, said, seconding words of Reverend Vicky, the time is right, and we have the duty to act. We need to show our love publicly. I was watching a documentary about Ai Weiwei, a current-day artist and activist from mainland China. You might be familiar with the Bird's Nest Stadium he designed for the Beijing Olympics. He is also known for more provocative works, which include large installations documenting the number of school children who died in the 2008 earthquake in China because their schools were shoddily constructed and fell down upon them. A horrible example of the powerful not taking care of the powerless. Let's just say the authorities are not enamored of Ai Weiwei's large and powerful art installations. At one point, he was beaten and jailed. In an interview, he was asked why he was so fearless compared to other people. He responded, I am fearful. That's not fearless. I am more fearful than other people. I may act more brave. If you don't act, the danger becomes stronger. In his art, Ai Weiwei is telling the world the time to act, to be just, is now. I have to tell you, this was a tough week to finalize a service on social justice. Every day, something was reported that I wanted to fold into the sermon, quote in the first paragraph or the last paragraph. We live in interesting times. I started and stopped, I cut and pasted. In the end, some words were left on the cutting room floor. But I feel compelled to lift up the incredible showing of public love by our young school students throughout the nation. They stood up, they sat down, they formed hearts on football fields. They made impassioned speeches that spoke truth to power. They made sure they were heard for 17 minutes on Wednesday. I have faith that we will hear from them for as long as it takes, today, tomorrow, next week, next year, to ensure their goal of a safe and loving environment returns to their schools and all schools. They are resisting and standing firm. Let's consider them role models. I have stated in the past that I believe if the world had more Unitarian Universalists, the world would be a better place. But upon reflection, I've refined that. I think the world would be a better place, a more fair and just place, if we, all the people of all traditions, actively showed love in public. Justice, every day, for everyone, all people. I leave you with some familiar but slightly adapted words. Imagine all the people living for today. Imagine all the people living life in peace. You may say we are dreamers, but we're not the only ones. We hope someday you'll join us, and the world will be as one. A just and loving world. A just world because of the good, challenging, frustrating, fulfilling work we do. Thank you.
Good morning. I'm Jeff Gunther. I'm co-chair of the Social Justice Committee here at UCGL. Every week we share our offering with an organization that does good in the wider community, doing something that what we call the 50-50 split. So 50% of the proceeds in the basket in cash will go to the organization, half will go to UCGL. If you're writing a check and you'd like it to go to the 50-50 split, please put 50-50 on the memo line of your check. This week's recipient goes to benefit the UU Urban Ministry, which is an organization based in Roxbury, which sponsors programs around education, housing, and community development. There's a very good detailed write-up in your order of service about the organization as well, if you'd like to learn more about them. This morning's offering is greatly received.
closing hymn. Let us find ways to act now in order to make our times less interesting. Times in which we actively care for others, where overwhelming joy and justice roll down, showering our most vulnerable people in our community and in all communities around the world. Times in which we protect those people from hate, hunger, avarice, and fear. Times in which we share our resources. Less interesting times in which we live together here in peace and harmony as one. Imagine.
Closing words from the late Unitarian Universalist minister, the Reverend Gordon McKeeman, who grew up in this church. Let there be light. Let it shine in dark places, in moments of pain, in times of grief, in the darkness of hatred, violence, oppression, where there is discouragement and despair, wherever darkness is to be put to flight, let there be light.
resist, we refuse to let hatred in. We rise up, we won't back down. We're in this till the end.
We resist, we refuse to let hatred in. We rise up, we won't back down. We're in this till the end. We resist, we refuse to let hatred in. We rise up, we won't back down. We're in this till the end. We resist, we refuse to let hatred in. We rise up, we won't back down. We're in this till the end. We resist. Pray for your enemies. Welcome the stranger. Show love to your neighbor. We're in this till the end. We resist. Pray for your enemies. Welcome the stranger. Show love to your neighbor. We're in this till the end. Pray for your enemies. Welcome the stranger. Show love to your neighbor. We're in this till the end. Pray for your enemies. Welcome the stranger. Welcome the stranger. Show love to your neighbor. We're in this till the end. Pray for your enemies. The stranger. Welcome the stranger. Show love to your neighbor. We're in this till the end. We're in this till the
The Reverend Dr. Martin Luther King Jr. paraphrased 19th century Unitarian minister Theodore Parker with the words, "The arc of the moral universe is long, but it bends toward justice." And let the people say, Amen.